Mitchell Starc ripped through England with a 7-wicket haul, but England hit right back thanks to Jofra Archer, Brendan Doggett, and Ben Stokes. Living up to the hype after such a prolonged build-up, the first Ashes test started in frenetic fashion with wild momentum swings as pace bowlers from both attacks dominated on a bouncy Perth Stadium surface. By the end of a thoroughly entertaining opening day, England have amazingly finished with the edge after 19 wickets fell in front of 51,531 fans. Stepping up in the absences of fellow quicks Pat Cummins and Josh Hazlewood, Mitchell Starc had initially given Australia a sensational start to the series with career-best bowling figures of 7 for 58 as England were dismissed for just 172 in their first innings. In the lead-up to the test, Starc had stated his preference for series openers to be played in Australia's traditional fortress of the Gabba, while he was also dubious about a Perth surface dubbed as a green monster. Bowling consistently around 145 km per hour, Starc relished a green-tinged surface. He was able to find some extra zing-off to tear through England's batting. Learning from Starc's efforts, England's all-out pace attack hit back against a reshuffled Australia batting order after Usman Khawaja was unable to open, having spent time off the field during England's innings with back stiffness. After months of speculation over who would open, Marnus Labuschagne did end up partnering debutant Jake Weatherald, who at the start of the day had received his cap from David Warner. Much like Nathan McSweeney a year ago against India on the same ground, Weatherald faced a baptism of fire and was trapped LBW by quick Jofra Archer to fall for a second ball duck. Khawaja was still not able to bat by this point, meaning Stephen Smith walked out at number 3 for the first time in a test since 2017. He had a torrid time, smacked on the elbow by a vicious short ball from Gus Atkinson that required medical attention. Bowling at speeds around 150 km per hour, Archer was a handful, and he conjured awkward bounce that accounted for Labuschagne, who was bowled off the underedge. Having copped another painful blow, Smith battled hard with 17 off 49 balls before edging a sharp delivery from Brendan Doggett to second slip. Batting at number 4 for just the second time in his test career, Khawaja could do little against a rapid short delivery from Doggett that hit the bat handle, and he was caught behind. Feeling in much better spirits than he had earlier in the day, Ben Stokes finished with 5 wickets in his 6-over spell, including Travis Head and Cameron Green, who had threatened with a 45-run partnership in the shadows to cap England's remarkable rally. There are eerie parallels to the corresponding India test from 12 months ago, when 17 wickets fell on the opening day. This surface did not appear to be quite as challenging, but sharp bounce and pace was evident with a slew of top-order batters falling behind the wicket. England's first attempts of unfurling their aggressive batting style on Australian soil did not go to plan after winning the toss. They did score at 5.3 runs per over, but were bowled out in just 32.5 overs, capitulating to lose 5 for 12 in 18 deliveries by the drinks break of the second session. It was the shortest innings of an Ashes test since Trent Bridge 2015, when Australia were routed for 60 on the opening day. 3 of England's top 6 batters were caught behind the wicket, by the keeper or in the well-stocked cordon, in a mode of dismissal that has been common in Perth over the years, while the other 3 were beaten by pace. England's fight back later in the day has vindicated their decision to go in with an all-out pace attack, with off-spinner Shoaib Bashir missing out in a rarity when fit. There had been an expectation that Australia would bat regardless of which side the coin landed, given Stokes' preference of bowling first. But he opted to follow the brief history of the ground, where batting first had proven advantageous before the surface cracked up later in the match. Openers Zach Crawley and Ben Doggett walked to the crease amid some jeers from Australian fans, who only just outnumbered their English counterparts in the terraces. Given the high drama over first deliveries of several previous Ashes series, there was a swirl of anticipation as Starc charged in with thundering clapping reverberating around the massive ground. Crawley, of course, had famously swatted Cummins for a boundary on the first delivery of the last Ashes series, but he blocked Starc into the offside in an anticlimax. It didn't take long for drama to ensue with Crawley, who effectively collared Stark in the 2023 series, playing and missing on the third delivery before being unable to see out the opening over after edging to Khawaja at first slip. There had been concerns over Crawley's ability to drive on a lengthened perth, and the shorter length from Stark undid him. While Stark was a handful from the jump, a nervous-looking Scott Boland struggled with his lengths in his first red ball match at Perth Stadium as Doggett pounced with several lovely drives down the ground. After a strong hit-out in the Lilac Hill warm-up cemented his number 3 spot, Ollie Pope underlined his confidence with several crisp punches down the ground, striking the right mix of balance and aggression. The runs flowed despite the outfield being particularly sluggish after a Metallica concert was held on the ground just 3 weeks ago. Even though he cruised at runnable pace, Doggett was never at ease against Stark, and on 21 was beaten by pace to fall LBW after an unsuccessful review. Joe Root arrived at the crease in the 9th over, with a tough task ahead to produce an elusive century in Australia. But Stark was on a roll, and had Root turned inside out to nick to third slip with a cracking delivery that pitched on leg and nipped across. It was Stark's 100th Ashes wicket, and his celebration was fitting. To that stage, Stark had the figures of 3 for 10 from 5 overs, but Harry Brook was undaunted in his first Test innings in Australia as he unfurled trademark Cavalier shots, some of which failed to connect. Brook and Pope combined for a brisk 55-run partnership to steady the ship briefly for England. Stark was playing a lone hand amid Boland's struggles, while debutant Brendan Doggett, who came on first change just before the drinks break, bowled sharper than his pace in the 130s suggested.
Please support our team grow by subscribing.
It is an honor to support you.
We will continue to work hard to provide you breaking news in the international cricket world.